If you're terrified of being swallowed whole by a 30-foot underwater monster with suction cups and a beak, great news. You're not delicious. At least not to a giant Pacific octopus. These marine marvels aren't lurking in the deep planning the next episode of Cephalopod Human Edition. In fact, if one does grab you, chances are it's either curious, defensive, or very confused, like you wearing fins and neoprene and flailing like you forgot how gravity works. Still, there's a big difference between not being food and not being grabbed, squeezed, inked, and mildly traumatized. So let's dive headfirst into what really happens when you get caught in the embrace of a creature with 8 arms, 0 bones, and no chill. Meet the giant Pacific octopus. The giant Pacific octopus. Octopus doflani is the heavyweight champion of the octopus world. It's the largest known species on the planet, and, frankly, it knows it. The average adult octopus from this species has an arm span between 9 to 16 feet, that's like hugging a smart car, and weighs between 50 to 100 pounds, though the largest verified specimen tipped the scales at nearly 200 pounds. Some old-timey sea stories claim octopuses the size of school buses, but science says, calm down, Carl. These deep-sea giants live in the chilly waters of the North Pacific, anywhere from California to Alaska and across to Japan and Russia. They enjoy caves, kelp forests, and making divers panic for 3 to 5 seconds before letting go and going back to their crab dinner. Intelligence level. This is not a brainless blob of calamari. The giant Pacific octopus has one of the most complex nervous systems in the animal kingdom. Its 9 brains, yes 9, 1 central, 8 mini brains in its arms, can solve puzzles, open jars, recognize individual humans, and escape aquariums like underwater Houdinis. Each of its 8 arms is a fully independent problem solver. This means that while you're trying to figure out why one arm is wrapped around your leg, another may already be unzipping your dive gear, checking your watch, and judging your Spotify playlist. No, it doesn't want to kill you. Probably, let's clear this up right now. There has never been a single confirmed human fatality caused by a giant Pacific octopus. Despite their terrifying looks and muscles-on-muscles design, these octopuses are not aggressive toward humans. They don't hunt us, don't drag us to underwater lairs no matter what the movies say, and they definitely don't swallow us whole. Their diet is strictly crustacean with the occasional fish, mollusk, or unlucky seagull on the menu. Yes, they do have a beak, a real one, like a parrot with attitude and venom in their saliva. But it's the underwater equivalent of mild hot sauce. Irritating, not deadly. The blue-ringed octopus, much smaller, found in Australia, is the dangerous one. It has enough tetrodotoxin to kill multiple humans, and it doesn't even weigh more than a chicken nugget. The giant Pacific octopus, by comparison, is basically a very strong vegan that occasionally gets grumpy. Real-life octopus attacks. There have been dozens of real diver-octopus encounters over the years. In nearly all cases, the octopus was just being curious, territorial, or trying to borrow a GoPro. In spring 2025, a diver off Vancouver Island reported being enveloped by a 14-foot octopus while filming underwater kelp. The octopus wrapped around his torso, gently tugged him toward a rock crevice, then released him after a few seconds, probably disappointed he wasn't a crab. In another case, a diver's camera was stolen, yes, stolen by an octopus. It unscrewed the mount and toddled off with it. These are not hostile acts. They're just what happens when a highly intelligent invertebrate meets a human with gadgets. So what could happen if things go south? Now let's say this normally chill, introverted genius of the deep is having an off day. Maybe it's a female guarding her eggs, which makes even the calmest octopus turn into an overprotective, 8-armed helicopter parent. Or maybe you wandered too close to her den, looking like a Technicolor fish stick in neon pink fins. Whatever the case, you've accidentally triggered the cephalopod version of, "You want to go?" Here's how a worst case but still very real encounter might unfold, based not on horror movies, but on actual octopus biology and diver reports. Initial grab. It starts with 1 or 2 arms reaching out slowly but purposefully. They wrap around your limb, tank, or gear, and the suckers lock on like industrial-strength plungers. Each sucker can hold with up to 35 pounds of force. It's not painful at first, just firm and very weird. It feels like your body's being scanned by a cold, curious vacuum cleaner that skipped its morning coffee. Full body wrap. If it feels threatened, it may try to pull you in using multiple arms. It's not trying to kill you, it just wants you gone. Beak proximity. If you're unlucky or decide to poke the octopus like it's a touchable exhibit, it might respond with a warning bite. That's when you meet its keratin beak, a hard, parrot-like tool located at the center of its arms. The bite isn't life-threatening, but it can sting like a crab pinch with a hint of wasabi. You'll feel it and probably tell the story at every party for the next decade. Inking out. If the octopus is really fed up, it may unleash its signature smoke bomb, a thick, dark ink cloud. This inky burst doesn't just ruin your visibility. It can gunk up your gear, clog your mask, and turn your perfect GoPro footage into a blurry mess. Congratulations, you've just been rage quit on by a cephalopod. Tug of war. In rare cases, the octopus may try to drag you toward its den, especially if it thinks you're a threat to its eggs. It's strong, make no mistake, but it's not Aquaman strong. You're wearing 40+ pounds of gear and are likely far too big and inconvenient to deal with. Still, the feeling of being gently but firmly pulled toward a rocky hole can be terrifying if you're unprepared. How to escape like a marine ninja. Now that you've been bear hugged by Poseidon's vacuum cleaner, what do? First rule, don't panic. Seriously. The worst thing you can do is flail like a caffeinated jellyfish. Panic increases your oxygen use and makes you harder to rescue. It also makes you more interesting to the octopus. That's not what you want. Second, peel, don't pull. Suckers come off like duct tape. Start at the outer edge and gently peel them off. Don't yank, it's pointless and exhausting. Third, surface slowly. Most octopuses don't follow you up. They're homebodies. Get to shallower water and you'll be left alone. Fourth, use distractions, flashlights, air bubbles, your backup regulator. Anything that surprises or annoys the octopus may break its focus. Fifth, don't stab it. A knife escalates everything. You're not in a B-movie, you're in the ocean. Play it cool. When octopuses go on spring break, octopus behavior changes during mating season, when females guard thousands of eggs inside rock dens. If you stumble too close, Mama Octopus might come out with 8 arms full of attitude. She won't bite your face off, but she might shove you, wrap you, and encourage you to go look at fish elsewhere. After laying eggs, the female will stop eating, devoting all her energy to guarding the clutch for up to 6 months. She dies shortly after the hatchlings emerge, a tragic but epic exit. Honestly, it's more intense than any movie plot this year. Why you're safe and why you're lucky. The giant Pacific octopus might look like it belongs in a sci-fi film, but it's one of the ocean's most remarkable, mysterious, and misunderstood animals. It's not a killer, not a monster, and definitely not interested in human sushi. If you do get tangled up with one, the most likely outcome is a wild story, a few sucker marks, and maybe some excellent underwater footage. Unless the octopus steals your camera again, you're far more likely to be injured by stepping on a sea urchin, touching coral, or picking a fight with your own dive fins than you are by an octopus. These animals don't deserve fear, they deserve awe, respect, and the occasional polite no thanks when they reach out to borrow your oxygen tank. If a giant Pacific octopus attacks you underwater, you might get squeezed, startled, or gently nibbled. But you're not in serious danger. These highly intelligent, curious creatures are not aggressive toward humans, and no fatal encounters have been recorded. By staying calm and following simple techniques like peeling off suction cups and surfacing slowly, you can safely escape and earn an epic dive story. In short, octopuses aren't monsters. They're 8-armed geniuses with a flair for drama, not danger. If you enjoyed that deep dive into octopus drama, give this video a like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next wild underwater truth bomb. Stay curious, stay safe, and watch out for those 8-armed pranksters.